And welcome back, episode 7 of Swishes, Hits, and Kicks. We are hitting lucky number 7. Well, it ain't my favorite number, but it's lucky to somebody out there. And today, we got a banger of an episode for everyone. It is Friday, as I'm recording this on March 8th, 2024. Fact check that. And man, I'm excited about today's episode. It might not be the longest episode I've done, but I'm stoked for it. I don't know what it is, but this episode today, I am just stoked for. We got a lot to talk about, though, today. There's a lot of sports stuff to talk about. I'm actually really excited about a few things that are happening on Saturday. But let's jump in. Excuse me, the cough back? Maybe, I don't know. But let's go into good vibes, all right? Good vibes. Let's see. Let's start with my Sacramento Kings. My Sacramento Kings, to me, are such a good vibe right now. They're not a Debbie Downer vibe, but I would add a stressful vibe as well. These last two Kings games, man, we beat the Lakers. We had a big lead and it got cut short and we just held on. And then as I'm recording this last night against the San Antonio Spurs with no Ngannou, we were able to pull it out at the end. And my goodness, man, these Kings stress me out. Like Charles Barkley on TNT after the game said that, Sacramento Kings have like the most explosive offense in the NBA. But we also have the worst defense in the NBA. And I saw another article talking about how the Sacramento Kings are very Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? And I just think, that's a great way to put it because the Kings, man, I love them, but, man, they stress you out, right? And it's always at home, too. Great conversation this morning during supposed to be like a guest speaker type thing at work. And they were like, a couple of people were like, man, they just, at home, they always hurt compared to on the road. And I'm like, I know, which is wild, because Golden One's nutsos for the Kings, right? Nutsos, we light the beam, right? And I just hope we pull it together. I hope we hold on tight with playoffs coming, in the next couple months. We're going to have to kick it into gear. And hold on tight. And step up the defense. I feel like sometimes we just let them score. We let them come back. I don't know how it happens, but I'm hoping something changes with that. And there is some insane fights this week, guys. And tonight, actually. As I'm recording this, there's one tonight as well. And let me get into that one first because it is tonight. And it's boxing. Boxing in Saudi Arabia, we have Anthony Joshua, former Olympic gold medalist. He was a heavyweight champion. He beat Klitschko against the lineal MMA heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou left the UFC as the heavyweight champion. They couldn't come to a contract negotiation. And everyone was like, man, Francis is making a bad decision, bad move, yada, yada, yada. Francis did arguably the best thing he could do. He went out and signed a deal with the PFL, which is an MMA organization, and they let him go and fight Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champion boxer of the world. And 10 rounds, because Francis technically has no experience, and Francis knocked him down, because Francis is the hardest puncher in all of fighting. And even though he technically didn't win the decision, he won it in the eyes of many fans. And tonight, he is facing Anthony Joshua, who is a big-time boxer. Very popular, right, in the UK. And they're fighting tonight. It's probably going to be an interesting production. Saudi Arabia has interesting productions. They're all about glitz and glamour and 5 hours between fights. Just kidding. More like 2 hours, but still it's way too much, right? But Francis tonight, I want to give a prediction, even though I think Joshua is going to be more prepared than Fury. And this is for fun because I'm a way bigger fan of him than I am of the other. Francis, I think, gets the knockout. Francis is going to knock him out and make all the money. Continue proving people wrong. that he did the right thing, leaving the UFC.
Well, I'm going to have to edit this in. Looked like Francis got laid out by Joshua, which, to be honest, I mean, that's what should have happened with Fury. Man's been boxing his whole life. Going against a guy with one professional fight. He should win. The world's restored. Now just go back to MMA, Francis. There we go.
Speaking of UFC, insane card on Saturday. And I am so stoked to hear about it, or see it, watch it. You're hearing about it right now, right? We have Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Cheeto Vera for the UFC Bantamweight Championship. This is actually a rematch from a few years ago. Sugar Sean lost that fight, even though he claims he didn't lose it, but the record books don't lie. He lost it. I believe Twitter, some people call it X now, Twitter, we'll even fact check you and be like, no, he lost. Insane card. Let's go over. I'm going to go over all the ones that really interest me, and more than 5. So let's get it. Co-main event. And they're giving it the 5-round treatment like a main event. We have Dustin Poirier versus Benoit, not the wrestler, Benoit Saint Denis at lightweight. Crazy fight. There's 1 to 2 ways to go about this fight. Let me scoot back real quick. Rewind. Let me scoot back. O'Malley versus Cheeto Vera. Who am I going with? Most experts are picking O'Malley because O'Malley's hot right now. O'Malley's winning. He's got a big fan base. I'm going underdog. I'm going Cheeto Vera. I think he's going to pull it out and beat Sean O'Malley. And that co-main event, man, Benoit Saint Denis is the favorite. But he's never faced tough competition. Like, he's never faced a Dustin Poirier type. Even though I say that, I am going Benoit Saint Denis. I think Poirier's time's coming to a close in MMA. The way he's been talking a lot this week of, he doesn't want to be in the octagon too long. He's, worried about his family, this and that. Those to me are signs of, like, maybe it's time that we call curtains on a great career, by the way. Next up will be a fun one. Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page. This is Michael Venom Page's debut in the UFC. He's been to Bellator, PFL, not PFL, bare knuckle boxing. And he's very fun to watch, but he's never faced competition like a Kevin Holland, I believe. Or even you could say Kevin Holland's faced harder competition in the UFC, right? Most of the time when guys jump from another place to UFC, they usually lose. I'm going to go out and say that Michael Venom Page changes that and he wins by knockout. We got Jag Della Maddalena, hell of a word, against Gilbert Burns. This is a big fight for JDM facing a vet top 5 contender in Gilbert Burns because the UFC is basically wanting to see, hey, does JDM have what it takes to be in the upper echelon of the division? And for Gilbert Burns, this is are you still a top guy in the division fight? This is a big time fight. I am going to go with the young blood. I think JDM takes the win here in Miami and moves on up in the welterweight division. Crazy, but another big fight is former champion Peter Yan versus Song Yadong, who's arguably probably the strongest hitter or boxer in the bantamweight division, punches the hardest against Peter Yan. Peter Yan's coming off, 2 losses? I'm going to go with Song Yadong. I'm going to go with the young guy. The young guys right now, it's hard to go with the vets in a lot of these because MMA, I feel like, is a young man's sport unless you're like heavyweight or light heavyweight, the bigger sizes, because the power's still there. But in these lighter weights, I go with the young guys. So I think Song Yadong's going to pick up the win and skyrocket in that division. Now, this is prelims. We're talking the next fights are all prelims, but they're great. Curtis Blades and Jalton Almeida at heavyweight. I got Curtis Blades. I know Almeida's the guy right now in the UFC. Honestly, if he beats Curtis Blades, Almeida beats Curtis Blades, I can see UFC making him go against Aspinall because they want fresh young blood in the heavyweight division. But Curtis Blades is a tough one. He's great. You have Macy Barber versus it used to be Caitlin Chahugan, but now it's Caitlin Sermonera And that's going to be an insane fight. I got Macy Barber. Macy Barber is going to be a superstar for the flyweight division in the women's. I think she's got all the tools in the world to be the champion. Then we got Gamrot versus Rafael dos Anjos. And another fight where young guy coming up, veteran, former champ type guy coming down. Top contender vet. Dos Anjos loses. Gamrot's gonna win. I actually think he dominates him. He's a big favorite to dominate him. Unless RDA can pull it out, I just don't see it. Who else is on this card that's blowing my mind? There's a ton of good fights. A lot of this whole card is young guy trying to crack through to the top against an older guy who's on his way down, who's a former champion or top contender, title challenger. That's why this card's insane. Honestly, this card stacks up so good with 300. 300's coming up soon, but this card, for some reason, is just, man, it's just stacked up to me. I'm so excited to see it tomorrow night. We can talk about the results on the next episode, episode 8. And this one, like, normally I would put this in a Debbie Downer part of the show, right? But I put it on good vibes just because, to me, like, this person did so much for me and, like, so many people around his life and what he created. And I'm going to talk about Akira Toriyama. Hell of a good saying. You like that? You guys like that? That was a clean one. Akira Toriyama. I feel like I was Japanese in another life. Anyways, Akira Toriyama was the creator of Dragonball. And I know this is a sports podcast, but I do hit on some other things that I'm interested in. And I was always into Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super. Kai was kind of whatever because it was just a redone version. Even Heroes a bit. And he died on March 1st. And he, man, it's insane because he was only 68, but Akira Toriyama, like, literally influenced Japanese comics and anime and mangas, like, that everyone loves now. When I was a kid, Dragon Ball Z was hot. I remember my brother was the first one to say something about it. He was in high school at the time. And we watched it, man. And it was like program TV for our household, weirdly. Like, my parents let us watch it in the living room. And, Goku, right? Like, Goku is Dragon Ball. Goku's everything for Dragon Ball. And, it blew my mind as I grew older. And obviously, like, we finally got internet to use, and researching myself. Like, Dragon Ball, the manga series, started in 1984. And, sold so many copies that they had to adapt it to a TV show. An animated one, video games, films. And, man, it's just crazy to me because, like, this man created something that, like, a whole world just enjoyed. There's games of this on your phone everywhere now. Like, the mangas are still going. The movies in theaters, right? I don't even know if he knew it would get that huge. Sidebar story. One of the reasons I knew that Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z at the time was like precursor to when I was watching it, right in the late 90s, and like early 2000s. Was like I was already 18 or so. My brother, there's like close to 8-year age gap between us, and he was already starting to mess with emulators at the time. And he was looking at old Sega Genesis stuff, and he's like, "Hey, bro, like, check this out." And it was a Japanese game, and it was Dragon Ball Z, and it was like Majin Buu versus like Goku, and there was a Cell versus Gohan, Teen Gohan, and it said like 1993. Then you look back at like Super Famicom, and those are like late 80s. So we started tripping because that's how old it is, and to know that the first mangas were out in 84, like a year after my brother was born. Like, that's just mind-blowing to me. Literally this quest of Dragon Ball that Toriyama wrote, all about a story. Just a story of a boy named Goku. Or, excuse me, son Goku. and trying to find these 7 magical Dragon Balls that he can make wishes come true. Sold 260 million copies altogether. That's insane. You know, he also helped with Dragon Quest. Like, there's many other things he did, and you know, like the One Piece creator, and then they all like looked up to him. So if you're into anime now, which a lot of people, more people are, I feel like open about it now than they were when I was younger, which is sick, right? Man, just, you know, good vibe for him, man. Kind of life cut short, but man, thank you for all that cool stuff you brought to me, man. I still like that stuff now. I'm 33 and I'm still all about it. Thank you. Now, you know what? I have one more good vibe. One more good vibe that I'm like, I need to share with the rest of the world. And that is, do you notice something? Do you notice something new? Do you see something fresh? Do you see something that looks maybe clean? Yeah, that's right. Your boy, Richard Carrion. Husband, educator, podcaster, content creator, sports lover. Got a fresh haircut. Should I give you blue steel? Should I give you one look? You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's go into that Debbie Downer vibes. Let's go, Debbie Downers. It's a good week because I only got one. I got one Debbie Downer. I made a social media post about it just because I was so surprised. I had heard rumblings about it for over a year, right? As most people who are like into fight business, boxing, MMA, all that stuff have. But I couldn't believe it was come true. And that is, we are having Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul in July 20th to be exact, on Netflix at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the Cowboys play. What? Like, what is going on? Like, this is mind-blowing. Jake Paul is 27. Mike Tyson will be 50 by the time, or 58 by the time they fight. Mike Tyson was a world champion before Jake Paul was ever born. And the last time Mike fought, he fought to a draw in 2020, November 2020, during the pandemic on that amazing Triller card, right? Amazing. Where Jake Paul was on the undercard and knocked out Nate Robinson. But Tyson and Roy Jones, like, they looked like some old guys. Tyson looks amazing in these training footage, these montages, all this stuff. He looks great, but like, I need to know, like, Mike Tyson, I feel like a year ago was walking with a cane. Like, I don't even know how this is working out where, like, he's getting licensed to fight. I have a feeling this is going to be an exhibition. I'll watch it. I really don't want to see Mike Tyson knocked out. I actually hope he wins. I'm not, like, the hugest Jake Paul fan. I'm not against him either, though. He's kind of whatever to me, but I hope Iron Mike wins. I don't know. I don't see it's tough, right? 31 years age difference. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. But yeah, that's all the Debbie Downers I got for this episode. Let's just go into closing thoughts. I told you this won't be the longest. Maybe, who knows? This next topic gets your boy jumping out of his seat. And that is Love is Blind, baby. That's what we're talking about today. Love is Blind. We had the season finale of Love is Blind. Okay, wait, hold up. There will be spoilers. Pause it. Move ahead. Now. Okay. Into the spoilers. Like, into the Spider-Verse. Into this, baby. We had 3 couples entering this episode. One said I do to each other and got married. Shout outs to Amy and Johnny. They were the only ones to get married. I called that. They were going to be the only ones to get married. Clay and AD didn't work out, and I knew they weren't going to work out. One, my man, as I said before, blinks too much. Secondly, which, by the way, I said joke before that maybe he was giving Morse code, and I think he was giving the code to AD a long time ago, and she just didn't see it. That he wasn't staying, he wasn't out. Let's be honest here. The man openly kept saying he was worried about cheating on her. Ladies out there, if someone says they're worried about cheating on you, they ain't the one. They ain't the one. I'm sorry. Like, oh man, I'm just worried and stressed out. Oh, why? What's that? I'm just worried about cheating. Oh, not her cheating, him. Like, red flag city, right? Cut that off. You haven't even known each other that long. Go your separate ways. Move on. And he told her no at the altar. Now, the most entertaining one to me was the beginning of the episode. And I called this. I knew this dude was out and commend him. Although the way he went about it was a little rough. Not the best, Jimmy. Not the best. But Jimmy and Chelsea started off the episode, and they left us on a cliffhanger before. They're there, and he asked her if she was ready to get married, and it was like kind of left in her pocket, her plate. And she was like, yeah, of course I'm ready, And he was like, oh, I'm not. He was not ready to get married. He went on a date with this girl all day, riding roller coasters, doing all this stuff. And then when it came time at night, we're having dinner, I'm not ready. That's the part where I was like, oh, he could have told her. He's known about this. And his reasons, I get it. Like I said it before, that chick's whack. Right? My brother said that best. Shout out to Junior. He said it, man. Chelsea's whack. And she is whack. And, Jimmy let her loose, cut her off, and I would have too. Not going to lie, I'd have cut her off. But way before then, I wouldn't have went on a whole date with her and then cut her off. I'd have just dipped out on her right away. Reunion's coming. Can't wait for this reunion. We're going to hear about old boy Kenneth, who looks like my man Marcus a little bit. Shout outs to my boy Marcus. Rangers of the Grid, yeah. Brittany, his other person's there. Jeremy, everybody's going to be there. Jess is going to be there, so we'll see about her and Jimmy. All the participants will be there, and I can't wait to see some fireworks. I know. Some of y'all hate this kind of stuff. I love this. Some people love it, and I love it too. Let's go. And last but not least, I've never really talked about this on the podcast, but I'll mention it. March to me is a fun time for video games. I play video games. I like video games. Lately, I've been playing a Mio Mini Plus like retro game system, and I've been playing that like crazy. Especially, hey, fellas out there with wives. I mean, heck, if you got kids, and it's busy, and finally you get to go to bed. Wife's asleep, everybody's asleep, but you still wide awake. Get you a Mio Mini Plus. Next episode, I'll even have it on here. Get you one of those, man. You'll be playing, hanging out there for however long you're up, and then you can pass out just fine. All right? But I also got a PS5. And your boy sees some games right now that he's on and has to get. Specifically, there's like a couple mainly that I need. Later this month, I don't know why, I still always get sucked into South Park games. As a South Park loving kid growing up, it is what it is. If you know about that, you know my personality. Also, MLB The Show in a few weeks. It comes out on the 19th. That's going to be a fun one. I'm telling you, I've been contemplating talking more about baseball as the season comes up, but the video games are amazing. And last but not least, WWE 2K24. Come on, man. I told y'all, I'm a wrestling loving fan. I'm a fiend for wrestling. Pro wrestling. And I had to get it. And I went. And this ain't a plug, because I didn't get this for free. I had to pay out of my own pockets. Hard work pays off. Got it right here. This bad boy will be freshly opened tonight. Thanks to my wife for letting me play. But yeah, I've even thought about doing a Twitch channel. Just because I have so much fun playing retro games and certain games now. Let me know. Let me know if that'd be something anyone would be interested in. And then we can get that on and popping. I get the okay from the wife, and here we go, Swishes, hits, and kicks on Twitch. Let's get it, baby. Let's see. What am I going to close out with? Oh, you know what? Last time, I talked a little bit about everybody needing to struggle. Like, a struggle's a good thing. We're hindering nowadays generation because we're not We're not allowing struggle, and hence why, like I said, and I used I said diamonds, right? We don't have a ton of diamonds shining anymore because we're not allowing struggle / pressure, to make them, right? And today I heard a great thing from a keynote speaker talking about how, and I'm going to use the analogy for everyone, not just kids, but you don't need like a degree to have a great job and to pick up skills. And I 100% agree with that. I'm actually someone, even though I have a degree, I'm someone that thinks that we shouldn't push it as much. And I say that because not everyone is always meant for school, right? And I know that sounds kind of rude, but not everyone is. And I wish like we started teaching skills more for those that, not everyone wants to sit in a classroom and take notes and write and do all that. Some people like the hands-on learning more. And if we gave more opportunities to those to branch out there, I think we'd find more success in our societies. And he was basically saying like, there's plenty of jobs out there to make a very, very good living. And you don't need a degree. You just have to pick up skills, and you have to be willing to go and get the skills. And that's what I'm harping on is you need to be willing to go and get the skills, right? To make things happen. If you find an interest in it, go get it. There's plenty of places out there. There's plenty of things to do where you don't need the big education to make it happen. Even if you're just needing money now. Like, I see these high school kids and I'm like, dude, like, go study Gary Vee for literally a week. Go side hustle. Go to your thrift shops, thrift stores, and just start flipping things on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace. Go find Facebook Marketplace and like go see the free stuff. Go pick up the free stuff and see how you can flip it and make money. That's all a profit. Like I tell people all the time, like I know they're illegal. I'm pretty positive, but like bots for shoes, like anything like that drops, you could just be stacking money. 3D printing, like. I'm not gonna lie, I've always thought about 3D printing. I still might someday. And you could be selling on Etsy, just making side hustles, making extra money. It's always interesting to me where people are always saying they're having such a hard time making money. But like, you have to go out and try to actually make it, right? You have to go find a way to make it. And that's what I tell people. Go find a way to make it. Whatever it is you want to do. But I don't want to go to school. That's fine. You don't have to. Hopefully what you want to do, you don't need schooling. But if you need schooling, you need to go get it then. Right? Whatever it is you're going to do, make it happen. Okay? And that's it. Whatever you want to do in life, make it happen. Let's go social medias. Let's see. Let's go first. We on Instagram. Please go follow, like, comment, share, like my stories. Get with that. I've been trying to post on TikTok more. I need to get my followers up on TikTok. Maybe I need to do more just videos. I don't want to do no dances though. Even though I can get down a little bit, I don't want to do no dances. But please follow me on TikTok. Let's see. What else we going to follow on? Oh, go to Spotify. Please check out Spotify. Download, listen there if you're a Spotify listener. Apple Podcasts. And I always bring up Apple Podcasts because Apple Podcasts is arguably the most played spot for podcasts. Go check that out. YouTube. We need more followers and subscribers on YouTube and views. Please go check that out and have the best weekend. March is kicking all the butt in a good way. We are Swishes, Hits, and Kicks. Get with it or get lost. I'm out. Let's go.